All right, Jon, you are undefeated. You are 2-0.
Oh man. Yeah.
Are you ready for your next challenger?
I'm ready. I'm ready, baby. Bring it on.
All right. Before we introduce them, I have a confession to make.
Oh, Jesus.
While we were having dinner together over the holidays, I secretly had a cleaning crew go to your place and thoroughly clean and disinfect the isolation chamber.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you.
There shouldn't be any funky smells this month.
No smells, no stains, nothing, unless, yeah.
Yes. Now, with that out of the way, let's meet this month's challenger.
My name is Kris Zellner, and I challenge Jon Boucher to a round of Gordon Solie's Championship Wrestling Trivia.
All right, Jon, your opponent this month is Kris Zellner. Kris, tell us.
My third opponent. You gave me Kris Zellner. My third opponent, Zellner. Oh, jeez.
You're moving up the cards, man.
Slow. You got to slow push.
As the promoter and booker of this podcast, I see potential in you, and I'm putting the rocket.
Strapping the
rocket to you. So
okay.
I think most of our listeners are quite familiar with Kris Zellner, but
yes.
Just in case, Kris, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, of course. I'm the host of Between the Sheets podcast with my co-host David Bixenspan, and we've been going strong for over 8 years now, going to 9 years, so that's good. Exile on Bad Street is the podcast I've done on my solo efforts. Haven't been doing that a lot lately due to a lot of stuff going on in my personal life, but hopefully maybe one day get back going on that. Al's been a guest on both shows, so he's a veteran of my podcast. Started watching wrestling as a child. I mean, my earliest wrestling memory is like when I was 5 years old, 1984. But I was going to wrestling when I was a baby. Of course, I don't remember that. But, of course, growing up in Georgia, you know, Jim Crockett Promotions was what I grew up with. So that is, my promotion, home promotion, WCW, of course, spawning from that. Also, being a kid in Atlanta, Joe Pedicino was a major influence with his wrestling blog. So I got to see wrestling from all over the world. So Mid-South, Memphis, two of my all-time favorite territories, world class, what have you. So I was a well-rounded wrestling fan as a kid. So, and I love wrestling magazines, collecting them in that era. So I was just a hardcore wrestling fan from the jump. So that's kind of my dearth of knowledge there is the 80s. And of course, if you want to see some of my wrestling opinions and what have you, and other things too, because I'm a hardcore sports fan and everything. Follow me on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, at Kris Zellner, KrisZellner, and of course the Between the Sheets podcast account is at BT Sheets Pod. So go there, and that's all I got for right now.
Kris Zellner, who has been going to wrestling shows since he was a baby. Jon, How do you feel?
Well, I haven't been going to wrestling shows since I was a baby, but I've been watching wrestling since 8 years old. So that's not a baby, but it's, prepubescent. Okay, let's do this.
All right, Kris, we're going to go over the rules for both you and Jon, and for our listeners as a recap. Both Kris and Jon will have 20 seconds to answer each question. I will ask Kris all 4 questions first, while Jon is in the isolation chamber that we built in his home.
Oh, my goodness.
Kris can ask for a hint for one of the first 3 questions. You must ask for the hint at the time the question is asked. The 20-second clock will be stopped while the hint is given. And you cannot ask for a hint for the 4th question. But if you do ask for a hint, Jon will automatically be given the same hint for the same question and be given a hint for the 4th question. The correct answer to each question is what's written on the actual game card, regardless of if we believe it's actually right or not. There have been a few mistakes with some of these cards, but
I'm not surprised by that.
That's the Seinfeld the Moops rule. And as a reminder, the game was released in 1987.
And I wanted this game as a kid, never got it.
Well, you've got a chance to play, so we'll see.
Hey.
And if both you and John answer the same number of questions correctly, there will be a bonus question for a tiebreaker.
All right.
John, Kris is ready to go, which means I need you to step into your freshly cleaned and sanitized isolation chamber.
Oh, it smells like Windex in here. Great, let's go.
All right, John is safely sequestered in the isolation chamber. So, Kris, are you ready to play Gordon Solie's Championship Wrestling Trivia?
Let's do it.
All right, question number 1. Who won the NWA World Heavyweight Championship in 1948?
Luthez.
That is correct. And I technically want to say it's based on how you interpret the NWA. He technically won the Alliance Championship. He was awarded it in 1949, but in 1948, he won the Association's World Heavyweight title from Wild Bill Longson. But since you answered correctly with what's on the card, that is correct. So question number 2. What Russian satellite did one of the Monroe brothers adopt as a name?
Sputnik.
That is correct. Kris Zellner is 2 for 2. And we move on to question number 3. Name the team who won the Jim Crockett Sr. Memorial Tag Team Championship and also competed in Wrestle Rock 86.
The Road Warriors.
That is correct. 3 for 3. We go on to question number 4. Reminder, you cannot ask for a hint for this question. And this is a true-false question. True or false? Wrestling has never been held at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia.
False.
That is correct. Kris has gone 4 for 4. For the first time in the 3 months we have been doing this, the challenger has gotten all 4 questions correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and signal John to come out of the isolation chamber, and we will see if he can keep up with Kris. Okay, John is out of the isolation chamber and ready to go. John,
Okay. Yeah.
this month's challenger, Kris Zellner, answered all 4 questions correctly.
You don't say.
Which means that in order for you to have a chance at victory this month, you must also answer all 4 correctly, at which point the bonus round will determine a winner. Kris did not use any hints, so you will not be getting any hints.
Okay.
John, are you ready?
Yeah, ready. Yep.
Question number 1. Who won the NWA World Heavyweight Championship in 1948?
Luthez? Go with Luthez?
Luthez is correct.
Okay.
And just like I said to Kris, this one I have an issue with. He was awarded the National Wrestling Alliance World title in 1949. In 1948, he won the National Wrestling Association World title from Wild Bill Longson.
But you
got it right.
A little hung up in my head on that one.
Right. On to question number 2. What Russian satellite did one of the Monroe brothers adopt as a name?
Oh, that would be Sputnik.
Sputnik is correct.
Okay.
Question number 3. Name the team who won the Jim Crockett Sr. Memorial Tag Team Championship and also competed in Wrestle Rock 86.
Oh, dear.
10 seconds.
I'll go with the Road Warriors.
With 2.5 seconds left, John guesses the Road Warriors, and John, you are correct.
Oh, boy.
3 for 3 with one question left. John, if you get this right, we will move on to the bonus round.
Okay.
Question number 4 is a true or false question.
Oh, Jesus.
True or false? Wrestling has never been held at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia.
I'm going to go false.
That is correct. The Great American Bash Tour of 1986 saw them have one card at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. All right. John got 4 right. Kris got 4 right. That means it's time for the tiebreaker and the bonus question. So here are the rules. You will each have 15 seconds to answer the bonus question. The correct answer is a whole number greater than 0. Kris will be asked the question first, and John will then choose if he thinks the correct answer is higher or lower than the answer Kris gave. If John's correct, he wins, and if not, Kris wins. So Kris, here is the question. According to the July 13th, 1998 edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, what was the paid attendance when Goldberg beat Hulk Hogan at the Georgia Dome?
Paid attendance. So not the attendance that was claimed, or
correct.
Say, the actual
paid attendance. Yep. 5 seconds.
38,150.
38,150 is Kris's guess. John, do you think that the paid attendance for the Goldberg-Hogan edition of Nitro at the Georgia Dome in July 1998 was higher or lower than 38,150?
Paid, I'll go lower.
According to Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, the paid attendance was 36,506, which is lower. John, you
Jesus.
beat Kris Zellner.
Oh boy.
Holy. I'm sweating too.
Jesus. Oh, man.
Wow. All right. Congratulations, John. But you know what that means? Next month's opponent, it's going to have to be a step up from Kris frickin' Zellner.
Oh man. Do I get a month off? Can I go back to developmental or something? Oh jeez. Send me down to NXT or something.
Oh man, I'm pumped now.
Me too. I got the vein on my forehead is going to knock off my headphones and my glasses.
Oh man. All right. Congratulations. Congrats, John. Really. I'm impressed. Yeah. I'm not going to lie.
Congrats to Zellner too. Great job, Kris.
The Charting the Territories podcast comes out on the second Thursday of the month. To be the first to know when new episodes are available, subscribe now wherever you find your favorite podcasts and at chartingtheterritories.com.